Hello students, I am Sridhar Jalapati. Welcome to my YouTube channel Sridhar Jalapati Aptitude Classes. In this video, I will be explaining TCS NQT 2020 October 24th Aptitude Test questions. I have collected nearly 40 questions from the students who have taken the exam on October 24th in the morning slot and afternoon slot. Yes, there are a lot of disturbances, there are a lot of problems while taking the test, a lot of issues the students have faced. When you look it into a broad prospective view, the TCS is conducting this exam all over India, so these problems are quite common. But when you look it into an individual perspective, in a student point of view, you have been preparing for a quite long time, and on the day when the test you are taking, when you are facing technical issues and your exam got stuck because of those technical issues, I'm sure you will definitely feel bad. But I hope you have already got the message from the TCS that whoever has faced a problem of disturbance, any technical errors, issues, then TCS is giving them another chance to take the test, and they will be getting the latest information when the next lot when they are going to take the test again. So for those updates, you be in touch with your placement officer. At the same time, you also get the message. You can also contact the TCS people, recruitment people directly. Helpline number is given in their portal. You can talk to them, you can contact them. Let's start our discussion with the aptitude questions which are given on 24th October morning slot and afternoon slot. Here is the first question. In a competitive exam, 5 marks are awarded for every correct answer, and every wrong answer 2 marks are deducted. Satvik scored 32 marks in this examination. If 4 marks had been awarded for each correct answer and 1 mark had been deducted for each incorrect answer, Satvik would have scored 34 marks. If Satvik attempted all the questions, how many questions? This is like, simply writing equations. Let the total questions in the exam be T, and he made some of them correct and some of them incorrect, wrong. So I'm assuming C number of correct questions, W number of wrong questions. So first quiz, 5C minus 2W is 32, equation 1. Second, 4C minus 1W is 34. Solve these two equations for C and W, and the required answer is C plus W. Total questions are nothing but correct and incorrect because he attempted all the questions. There are no unattempted questions. So there are many ways to solve this. I'm multiplying the second equation by 2. I'm multiplying the second equation by 2 and I'm writing that here. So this becomes 8C minus 2W is equal to 68. Now I am subtracting these two equations. Now on subtraction, this becomes minus plus minus, this get cancelled. 3C is equal to 36, then C is equal to 12. Correct question is 12. Substitute C in any equation, you will get W as 48 minus 34, 14. So W 14, C 12. So total number of questions 12 plus 14, 26 questions were there in the test. That is option 1. Right. Before that, I forgot to tell you, the TCS actual questions are not as difficult as those DRC test or sample test questions. We all really got scared when we have faced that DRC questions or sample test questions which is uploaded in the TCS portal. But when you see the real questions, I felt very happy for the students because the questions are not lengthy, the numbers are not weird. You got all good numbers and the questions are also not so difficult. So that's one good news I can tell you all who are taking the TCS test. Let's move to the next one. Second question. 96 men were engaged for a project of constructing a railway track of length 18 km in 4 weeks. After 1 week, it was observed that the work of 4 km was completed. How many additional men should be engaged for timely completion of the project? Now this is again related to time and work. Actually, they have already started and they worked for 1 week in which they have completed 4 kilometers of the road or track. Total they have to do 18 kilometers of the work. First of all, for this 18 kilometers, they are taking 4 weeks. Then per week, they have to lay 4.5 kilometers. Or in other words, in a week, at the rate of laying 4 kilometer in a week, To lay this 18 kilometers, they actually require 4.5 weeks in total. I repeat, at the rate of laying 4 kilometers in 1 week, to complete this project, they actually require 4.5 weeks altogether. But since they have already worked for 1 week, now remaining they actually take 3.5 weeks. If these 96 people work, they take 3.5 weeks. But he said how many additional men should be engaged for timely completion of the project. What do you mean by timely completion of the project? Within 4 weeks it has to get over. Already 1 week is over. That means in next 3 more weeks they have to finish this task. For that, how many men are required? M1 D1 is equal to M2 D2. So 96 into 3.5 is 7 by 2 is equal to M2 into 3. So if I simplify, this is 2 ones 248 and 3 ones 316s. We got M2 is equal to 16 into 7, 112. Now total 112 are required. We are asked to find how many additional men are to be deployed. So there are already 96. Additional men 112 minus 96, which is 16 more men are required. That is option D. 16 more men are required. Sorry. Clear? I repeat. At the rate of laying 4 kilometers in 1 week, for 18 kilometers they take 4.5 weeks. They have already completed 1 week work, so still it takes 3.5 weeks for them. But this has to get over in on time. That is, out of 4 weeks, 1 week work is over. They have to finish it in only 3 weeks. For that, how many men are required? So 96 people who take 3.5 weeks. Then to finish it in 3 weeks, how many men are required? M1 D1 is equal to M2 D2 will give you the answer. Right. Let's move to the next question. The variation in temperature throughout the day in a desert town was studied on the basis of the records of the maximum and minimum temperatures, which were 36 and 8 degrees respectively. What was the standard deviation in degrees centigrades? First of all, standard deviation is nothing but the square root of the deviations from the mean of each observation. So first of all, we have to find the observations are 36 and 8. Then mean of these observations is 36 plus 8 by 2, which is 22. Then deviation of deviation of each observation from mean is 36 minus 2 and 8 minus 22. 36 minus 22, 8 minus 22. Square of this divided by number of observations under root is standard deviation. I hope you have gone through my video which I have uploaded on elementary statistics. If not, you can watch that. So for this question, this is root of 14 square plus 14 square by 2. So this I can write it as, don't simplify, 2 into 14 square by 2, 2 to get cancelled. So root 14 square is 14. So answer 14, second option. This is the standard deviation. Second option. Let's move to the next one. What is the value of this? A simple question, but you need to be little careful with the zeros. So there are 7 digits, 3, 4 zeros and 3 digits. This can be written as 10 power minus 7 into 128 is 2 power minus 7 whole to the power. This is minus 1 by 7. There is minus also in the power. So this can be written as 10 power minus 7 into minus 1 by 7 into 2 power minus 7 into minus 1 by 7. So this get cancelled. And sorry, this is not 2 power minus 7, this is 2 power 7. 128 is 2 power 7. I am sorry for the error. You don't get minus 7 for 2 power because it is 128, 2 power 7. So if I simplify, this is 10 power minus 1 is 1 by 10 and this is 2 power minus 1. Sorry, minus into minus it becomes plus, minus plus 10 by 2 which is 5. 10 by 2 which is 5. Right, I repeat, this is 10 power minus 7 into 2 power 7 whole to the power minus 1 by 7. So this is 10 power minus 7 into minus 1 by 7 into 2 power 7 whole to the power minus 1 by 7. So this becomes 1 by 10 and sorry, this is 10 by 2 power minus 1 is 1 by 2, 10 by 2, 5. That is option D is the answer. Option D is the answer. Let's move to the next question, a simple one. Here is the question. What is the diameter of a solid right circular cylinder whose height is 2 centimeter and area of the curved surface of cylinder is 2 pi r h? area of the curved surface of the cylinder is 2 pi r h. This is 5 times the combined area of the two flat surfaces. For a cylinder, flat surfaces are nothing but base and top, which are circle. Area of the circle is pi r square. Combined area is pi r square plus pi r square, that is 2 pi r square. So if I simplify, 2 pi r we have to find. H is height given as 6 centimeter is equal to 5 into 2, 10 into pi r square. So if I simplify, this r, 1 r get cancelled, pi get cancelled. So if we got 12 is equal to 10 r. We want diameter, that is 2 r. So this 10 r can be written as 5 into 2 r. So therefore 2 r is equal to 12 by 5, which is 2.4 centimeter. That is the diameter, which is option 2. We are asked to find diameter, which is 2r, so which is 2.4 centimeters. It's a straightforward question, but to answer the question, you must know the formula. Curved surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi r h, whereas area of the flat surfaces is pi r square plus pi r square, 2 pi r square, 5 times that. So in the entire equation, we are given with h value. Only thing is r we have to find. Okay, let's move to the next one. In the collection of numbers which comprises the data given below is arranged in ascending order, then you are asked to find mean of this data. We are given with the median as 12.5. We are given with the median as 12.5. We have to find n value. By the way, all this information is already arranged in ascending order. So when observations are arranged in ascending order, and here there are altogether 1, 2, 3, n minus 1 is a single observation, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 observations. When 8 observations are there, you will see 2 in the middle, that is 4th observation and 5th observation. Average of these two is the median, which is given as 12.5. So n minus 1 is equal to 10, n is equal to 11. Right? So that is could be 4th option. I got only the student whoever has taken the screenshot of it. In this there are only 3 options. Could be 4th option as 11. So that is the answer. So here n value is 11. That's what we are asked to find. N minus 1 10. So n is 11. Right. Next question. A direct question from the median. And the next one is from syllogisms. This one is related to syllogisms concept. And I'll be explaining using Venn diagrams. Here, these are the statements and these are the conclusions. First statement, all vegetables are fruits. All vegetables are fruits. No carrot is a fruit, so carrots are different. Some roots are carrots. Some roots are carrots. And all roots are eatables. All roots are eatables. This is the Venn diagram for the information. Let's see which conclusion is correct. Some fruits are eatables. Are fruits and eatables intersecting? No, false. No root is vegetable. Sorry. No root is vegetable. Here roots and vegetables, that's a negative statement and they are not intersecting. So in the basic Venn diagram, no root is vegetable has become true. But this negative is true only in basic Venn diagram. Now, if I can prove some roots are vegetables, this becomes false. If I can prove some roots are vegetables, this becomes false. Can I prove some roots are vegetables? Yes. In the statement, he has given that only carrots and fruits should not intersect. Carrots and fruits should not intersect. Other than that, I can do anything. So I'm drawing the diagram like this. First statement, all vegetables are fruits. And second statement, no carrot is fruit. No carrot is fruit. And then next, some roots are carrots. Some roots are carrots. These are roots. And next, last one, all roots are eatables. All roots are eatables. Okay. Now, this second conclusion, no root is vegetable, has become false. Now, roots and vegetables are intersecting clearly. This has become false. So, negative initially has become true, but in alternate Venn diagram, I made it false. Next, to check the third one, I have to go to the basic Venn diagram, not the latest alternate. Basic. Some eatables are carrots. Are eatables or carrots intersecting? Yes, absolutely. Third one is true. And fourth, some roots are vegetables. Roots are here. Vegetables are here. Are they intersecting? No. So answer only 3. Only 3 is the conclusion. So probably there could be some options. I have only 2 options here. So answer is only 3. Only 3 follows. Answer is only 3. I got only two options here, maybe third and fourth. One of the third and fourth options is this. So answer only 3 follows. Conclusion 3 only follows. A simple logical deductions question. Next one. Now here again, this is from statements and assumptions. We are given with a statement followed by 2 assumptions. We have to find which of the assumptions is true. Now, various governments across the world have issued strict guidelines for the public to wear masks and wash hands regularly to safeguard their health during COVID-19 pandemic. This is the statement. First assumption, COVID-19 pandemic is a serious health issue. In the statement, the author has never ever said that it is a serious issue. He said, the various state governments across the world have issued strict guidelines for the public to wear masks and wash hands regularly to safeguard their health during COVID-19 pandemic. But he did not say that this is a serious issue or casual issue. So this is not an assumption. Second, there are ways, but generally most of the students think that they come out of the statement, and they say that yes, really COVID-19 is a very serious health issue. It has affected the world for 6 months. This is again, you are coming out of the statement. You just have to see in the statement. In the statement, he has not mentioned whether it is a serious health issue or not. This is just to safeguard their health. He has given the precautions. So in the statement, it is not talking about the seriousness of the health issue. Okay. Second, there are ways by which people can protect themselves from COVID-19 pandemic. Yes, this is true, because that's why the governments most of the governments have strictly released these guidelines for the public, because it can be the people can be protected for themselves from COVID-19 if they follow these strict guidelines. So assumption 2 implicit, therefore answer 2, only 2 is implicit. Only 2 is implicit. I have no options here, but among the options you have to select this only 2 as implicit. Why first one is not an assumption? Because in the statement it is not talking about the seriousness of the health issue. It is saying about only the guidelines issued. When guidelines are issued, then assumption is it can be people can be protected by following these guidelines. So I feel answer only 2 is assumption. Let's move to the next one. Now this is related to dice question. When you fold it into this, which of the following can be formed? Out of the 4 you have to see. I think you all know, when you fold this, these 2 form an opposite pair. Let me change the color. These 2 form an opposite pair, P and A. G and U form an opposite pair, and M and N form an opposite pair. Now in the first option, actually G and U are opposite pairs. Can they be adjacent? So first one cannot be. Let's see the third. M and N are actually opposite. Can they be adjacent? Again, eliminate. Next, P and A are actually opposite. Can they be adjacent? No, eliminate. So when I have eliminated first option, third option, fourth option, obviously second is the true. Second is the true, because PU adjacent, MU adjacent. So that's what saying. So second option is the correct one. Is this clear? Right. A simple folded paper question. Next one. Venn diagrams related. Here is the question. In this question, triangle stands for males. So triangle, males. He has not given. He has not written in the diagram, but it is given. Circle stands for doctors. So circle for doctors. And rectangle stands for government employed. So this rectangle is for government employed, GE. And hexagon stands for Corona warriors. Hexagon is for Corona warriors. Okay, right. Let's see what is the question. I think question is in the next slide. Question is, how many government employed doctors are Corona warriors but not males? How many government employed doctors are Corona warriors but not males? First of all, government employed doctors. So here, government employed doctors we have to consider. These are government employees and circle is doctors. So government employed doctors in the sense intersection to circle and rectangle. Intersection to circle and rectangle. Government employed doctors. So what is intersection to circle and rectangle? Intersection to circle and rectangle is 16, 22 government employed doctors. Right? And 35, 14. So this is intersection to rectangle and circle. So all these rounded numbers are government employed doctors. Out of these, how many are corona warriors but not male? First of all, how many out of these four selected numbers, how many are in corona warriors, which is hexagon? How many are in hexagon? 22 and 16. These are in hexagon. But they should not be males. How many are males in triangle? 22. This 22 I cannot take, so 16. These 16 are government employed doctors and corona warriors but not males. So answer 16. Hope you followed this. So option 1 is the answer. For this question, answer option 1. Right? Let's move to the next question. This is from logical reasoning section. Previous one also is from logical reasoning. In this video, I have combined both logical reasoning and numerical ability questions. Nehal and Iqbal, Ronit, Malini and Harbhajan. 5 people have participated in any one of the 5 activities: quiz, singing, dance, debate, mimicry. Now, let us see what is the straightforward information here. What are the people? Nehal, Iqbal, Ronit, Malini, Harbhajan. He says Iqbal participates in quiz. So Iqbal quiz, and quiz is over. Next, Malini does not participate in mimicry. Ronit participates in singing. Ronit singing. So that is also over. Singing is over. Now, Harbhajan does not participate in debate and mimicry. By the way, quiz singing is over. Still pending dance, debate and mimicry. Out of these 3, dance, debate and mimicry, Harbhajan did not participate in debate and mimicry. Then what is left out? Dance. That means Harbhajan participated in dance. So that is also over. Out of 3, as he has not participated in debate and mimicry, obviously Harbhajan participated in dance. Dance is over. Next, Malini does not participate in mimicry. So for Malini, only 2 things are left out: debate and mimicry. As she does not participate in mimicry, so Malini participated in debate. And last one left out, Nehal, and who has participated in what is the only thing left out? Malini has not participated in mimicry, so mimicry is left out. So Nehal is in mimicry. Now for question, who participates in debate? Who participates in debate? Malini. That is option 2. Malini participates in debate. A simple one variable question, analytical reasoning, or we can call it as problem solving question. Right. Move to the next one. But the pattern of the questions is almost like that sample test. Whatever the sample test they have kept in the website, same pattern, similar question, same pattern, but easier than that. Which is the wrong term in the following sequence? So let us go by options. First, FPT. F is 6, P is 16, T is 20. Second, OYC. O is 15, Y is 25. C can be written as 29 or 3, whatever you can take both. And J is 10, T is 20, X is 24. U is 21. F can be written as 6 or 6 plus 26, 32, and I is 9. So if you see, in this difference between first 2 letters, 10, 10, 10, but here difference between the first 2 letters is not 10, which is 11. So fourth one is the wrong term in the sequence. The difference between first 2 letters in all the 3 pairs is 10, but in the fourth one it is not. So that is the wrong term in the sequence. Okay. Let's move to the next one. Again, another reasoning question, problem solving question. 4 friends A, B, C, D have one of the 4 professionals: doctor, architect, engineer and lawyer. Each friend belongs to one of 4 different cities: Chandigarh, Indore, Lucknow and Pune. So it is a 2 variable question. A, B, C, D, 2 variables. Follow this tabular method to make it easy. And this is their profession and this is their place, city. P for profession, C for city here. Now let us see what is the straightforward information. It's given that, let's see what is the straightforward here. D is architect. D is architect, profession architect, so architect is over. And D is not from Pune, is not from Pune. And it's given that lawyer is from Pune. That means Pune. For D, let us see what are the cities available. Doctor is from Lucknow. So as D is architect and he is not doctor, so some other person is doctor and he is from Lucknow. That means D is not from Lucknow as well. He is not from Pune is given, and now he is not from Lucknow. And the next lawyer is from Pune, that is over. Engineer is that is over. C is from Indore. It's a straightforward information that C is from Indore. Now if you see for D, Indore is over. He is not from Pune. He is not from Lucknow. Then what is the only left out of the cities? Indore is over, is not from Lucknow, is not from Pune, then Chandigarh. So that means D is from Chandigarh. D is from Chandigarh. So that is also over. Chandigarh is also over. Okay, next statement is when it comes to the professions, A is not a lawyer or engineer. By the way, we have already got doctor is from Lucknow and A is not lawyer, not engineer. Out of the four professions, lawyer, engineer, doctor, architect, D is already architect, that is over, and is not engineer, not lawyer. The only thing is left out, doctor. So that means A is doctor. A is doctor. So doctor is over. Right, so two professions, engineer and architect, doctor and architect are over. Now engineer, lawyer is left out. It is already given that doctor is from Lucknow. Doctor is from Lucknow, so that means A is from Lucknow. Right, and now only per city left out. Lucknow is over, Indore is over, Chandigarh is over. Only left out is Pune. So B is from Pune, and it is given that lawyer is from Pune. That means B must be lawyer. Now doctor is over, lawyer is over, architect is over. The only thing left out is now engineer. So C is engineer. C is engineer. Now the question is, which of the statement is true according to B? So when it comes to B, he is lawyer and he is from Pune. B is lawyer and belongs to Pune. That is option 2 is the correct answer. Option 2 is the correct answer. Right, so you just have to use this information carefully, you'll get it. I mean, again, it's not a difficult one. Clear information is there about every other person, something or the other. If you put that in the tabular form, you will get the answer. So your second option is the correct one. Let's move to the next one. This is from data interpretation. Two tables are given. This is company A information, company B information, and this information is about the number of employees in company A in various departments like marketing, HR, all that. So now here you are asked to find what is the percentage difference between the employees working in the production department to that of the production department of company A and B. You are asked to find the difference between the percentage difference between the number of employees working for the two companies in production department. So first of all, percentage of people who are working in production department in company A is production to 736 by total 16. This is company B. First, this is company B. If you see the information, first table is in company B, second table is company A. First table is company B. So the percentage of people who are working in production department in company B is this. So to calculate this, you have to use calculator, on-screen calculator, because the numbers are not so comfortable. And then in company A, production department 504 by total 1202 into 100. So you calculate this percentage. We want the difference between these two. We want the difference between the percentage of employees who are working in production department in each company A and B. So after calculating, you will get the answer as fourth option, which is 1.15. Answer, 1.5, 1.52. This is the answer. I have calculated using calculator. I got this. So I am telling you. You also do this process by calculation, you will get it. There is no logic in this because this is all about numbers, right? So you also have to do in the same manner. There is no secret, there is no logic for this. Find the percentage of people from production department in company B and find the percentage of people from the production department in company A. We are asked to find the difference between the percentages, which is option 4, 1.5. That is from data interpretation. Let's move to the next one. From the same question, If 30 employees of the planning department quit company B and join company A, then what is the percentage of employees in planning department now in the company B? What percentage? Okay, right. First of all, in company B, from planning department, 30 people are moving to company A. This is B, this is A. So if 30 people move, then in company A, the planning department strength increased to 76. So now you are asked to find this 76 is what percent of total 1202. So this is something you have to calculate. So this also, if you simplify, I think approximately you are getting more than 60%, right? So this is 7600 by 1202. More than 12 6 are 72. If I take this as 1200, 12 6 are 72, 400 left, that is 1/3. So I think 63.33%. Let's see what is the option given. Yeah, 6.32, sorry, not 63, 6.32%. So you can go for first option as the answer. 6.32, not 63, 6.32. First option is the answer. Simple. The question is, earlier there were 46 people in company A. Now 30 people are shifting from company A to company from company B to company A. So total number of people in planning department in company A has become 76. We are asked to find this 76 is what percent of the total. So we'll get it as option 1, 6.32. Right. Let's move to the next one. So based on this data interpretation, 2 questions are asked. Next one. Again from reasoning section. 5 teachers P, Q, R, S and T each teach a group of students in a sequence between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. Each teacher teaches 1 hour. Right. So 5 classes from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. each takes 1 hour. First class, second class, third class, fourth class, fifth class. Q takes the first class, so first class is Q. S teaches just after T, so S should be just after T. R teaches before P and T, so R should teach before P and T. So it should be R, P, T, S. That's it. S teaches just after T and R teaches before P and T. So now who takes the second class? R takes the second class. Option 2 is the answer. Here somebody who has taken the section, say exam has marked as T, but answer is 2. R takes the second class. Okay, right. Simple reasoning question. Next one. Another reasoning section question. In the following series of clusters, letters in second term rearranged, which of the following you write? In which the operation is same? In which of the options the operation is same? Right, if you see, if I number the letters as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this kind of similar question is asked in sample test also. So A is second one, M is first one, N in the original is fifth one, O in the original word is fourth place, S in the original word is third place. Whereas when it comes to this, A in the original word is second place, P in the original word first place, R in the original word third place, T in the original word fourth place, Y in the original word, Y in the original word is fifth place, and T in the original word fourth place. Are these two same? No. Let's move to the third option. A in the original word second place, F in the original word first place, T in the original word fifth place, L in the original word fourth place, U in the original word third place. So 2153, 2153, that means option A and C are same. Option A and C are same. Let us see the fourth one also, just for a safe side. You don't need to check, but let me check it. So D is third, O is second. This is nowhere related to any of these. Last one, actually this is cargo and this is a different one. So these two are not at all related. So I think A and C have the same operation performed. So that is the answer. Right, let's move to the next question. This is from data sufficiency. The question is, there is no question here, but I got this question in another image. The question is, what is A to B? The question is, how is A related to B? How is A related to B is the question. First statement, A is the wife of B. Sorry, the question is, how is A related to C? Question is, I'm sorry, question is how is A related to C? A is the wife of B and B is the brother of C. So obviously I can find the relation between A and C. So one alone is sufficient. What is the relation? We don't need. We can find. Okay, if you want, A is the wife of B, A is female and these two are wife and husband, and this B is the brother of C. B is the brother of C. So for C, B is the brother. Brother's wife is sister-in-law. So how is A related to C? Sister-in-law. This is something I can answer from one alone. In the second, there is no A at all. So I don't know why this statement has given. There is no A at all. So you cannot answer from 2. So answer is one alone sufficient. Such a simple question from data sufficiency. I think anyone who is attempting the exam can answer this question. Next one. From blood relations using symbols and notations, something is given. So in this, you have to find how is T related to U. How is T related to U? So U and T are here. So let us see from U and T if I can establish relation, or let's go from left to right. First K and Z. K and Z connected by dollar. If two symbols are connected by dollar, father, that means K is the father of Z. K is the father of Z. K is the father. That means K is male and he is the father of Z. Next, Z and U are connected by percentage. If two letters are connected by percentage, brother, that means Z is the brother of U. So being a Z, Z is male and he is the brother of U. And U, H connected by end. If two letters are connected by end, mother, that means U is the mother of H. U is the mother in the sense female and U is the mother of H. Okay, next. H and N connected by ash. If two letters are connected by ash, relation is sister. That means H is the H is the sister of N. H is the sister of N. Being a sister, H is female. H is the sister of N. Now N and T are connected by @ If two letters are connected by @ he said daughter. That means N is the daughter of T. This N is the daughter of T. N being a daughter female. By the way, already U is the mother of N. So if this N has to be daughter of T, T must be male and father. So these two are wife and husband. U and T are couple, wife and husband. Their children are H and N. Both are female. Sorry. Now question is, how is T related to U? Husband. T related to U as husband. U and T are wife and husband, right? So simple blood relation question, but you have to do all this for this answer. Okay, right. Next question. Sorry. We have answered blood relation question just now. This one is over. Next one. This is again from data sufficiency. In a given below is a question followed by two statements 1 and 2, each containing some information. Decide which of the statements is sufficient to answer the question. 5 friends A, B, C, D are sitting in a line facing north. They are facing north. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 friends. They are all facing north. Who is sitting exactly in the middle? That is the question. First statement. C sits between A and D. E is at the 4th place to the left of B. Out of 5 people, if E has to be at the 4th place to the left of B, then B must be here and E must be here. Then only E will be the 4th place to the left of B. No other two positions satisfy this condition. If E has to be 4th left of B, B should be extreme right and E should be extreme left. Then only 1, 2, 3, 4 left to B is E. Okay, next. C is between A and B. If C has to be between A and B, then B is already here, C here, A here. Now the only person left out is D. Now the question is, who is sitting exactly in the middle? A. So I am able to answer by using 1 alone. 1 alone is sufficient to answer, right? Second state. Let us see whether we can answer from second also. I don't think there is an option called either of the statements is sufficient. We have combination required, 2 alone. Combination is also not sufficient, 1 alone. So there is no option called either of them sufficient. That means I don't think you will get with 2 alone. So answer is 1 alone sufficient. That is option D. From first, we are able to answer who is in the middle. So 1 alone is sufficient. Since there is no option called 2 alone is also, since there is no option called either of them alone is sufficient, I am not checking 2 now. Had there been an option called either of them sufficient, I would have checked the statement 2 as well. Right? Okay, so here answer 1 alone is sufficient. Next question. This is from statements and assumptions. Statements and assumptions. As I said, they are exactly following the DRC test pattern. Statement: the sale of LED televisions has increased by 20% in this financial year. The sale of LED televisions has increased by 20% in this financial year. First assumption. There was hardly any sale of LED televisions in the previous year. No mention about it. Sales increased by 20%. It is given that sales increased by 20%. But it doesn't mean that there were no sales last year. There could be a good number of sales in the last year as well. Now that got increased by 20%. So based on this, you cannot comment about the sales of the previous year. So first one is not an assumption. Second, LED televisions have been introduced this year. This is nowhere related to the statement. Therefore, answer neither one nor two. A simple statements and assumptions question. I think again, you will be happy to get these kind of questions. You will be the luckiest person if you get this question in your reasoning section. A very simple one. So answer neither of the two is the assumption. Next one. This is from syllogisms. Total 2 questions are from syllogisms. I have already explained one. Here is the second. All animals are plants. All animals are plants. And all plants are shrubs. All plants are shrubs. First conclusion. Some shrubs are plants. Obviously, some shrubs are plants. Second, some animals are not shrubs. Absolutely wrong. Because all animals are part of shrubs. So second is false. And all animals are shrubs. Absolutely right. All animals are part of shrubs. So answer both 1 and 3. So answer first one. Only conclusion 1 and 3 follow. 1 as well as 3 both are conclusion. Second is false. A simple positive statements question. When the statements are positive, it's very easy to answer syllogisms questions. The difficulty part in syllogisms is only when negative statement enters. Or when negative statement is given, that's where the problem becomes little difficult. But here there are no negative statements, very easy question. Let's move to the next one. This is from data sufficiency again, data sufficiency. How many rupees would Shalini need to spend to buy 11 pencils and 14 pens? To buy 11 pencils and 14 pens, how much money she would require? First statement, Shalini spent an amount of 201 to buy 15 pencils and 12 pens, cost 201. So from this, can I find 11 pencils and 14 pens? No. No, because by modifying this equation in any manner, I don't get 11 pencils and 14 pens. So 1 alone is not sufficient. Shalini spent an amount of 121 to buy 7 pencils and 9 pens is equal to 121. So if you see 2 alone, this also by making any modifications to this equation, I don't get 11 pencils and 9 pens. So 1 alone is not sufficient, 2 alone is not sufficient. When they are individually not sufficient, we combine. Obviously, if you combine, these are 2 equations in 2 variables. Obviously, you will get the value of pencil and pen by solving. And whatever the values you will get for pencil and pen, substitute here in 11 pencils and 14 pens you will get. Do not try to solve because we are not interested in the answer. You just have to say whether you can find or not. Yes, we can find. But there is one case that what if both these equations are same? You cannot find. If both equations are same, even after combining 1 and 2, you cannot find. Because if both equations are same, you cannot solve for pencil and pen, right? But here luckily both equations are not same. The equations in both statements are not same. Since these are 2 different equations in 2 variables, by solving them we will get pencil value, pen value, that we can substitute here and you will get the answer. So answer both 1 and 2 together required. So answer this. Combination of both statements 1 and 2 necessary. That is the answer. Right, let's move to the next question. I will read out for you. The font size is very less and please try to understand this, or even if I increase the font size, I don't think you will be able to see the entire information. So, right, I will read out for you. Pay attention. There are 5 rods K, L, M, N and O. The weight of L is equal to the weights of K and M. L is equal to K plus M. And the weight of O is K and N taken together, K and N taken together. Whereas the weight of M is twice the weight of K. M is twice the weight of K. And the weight of N is 3 times the weight of M. Weight of N is 3 times the weight of M. And at the end given N weighs 90 kg. We are asked to find what is the weight of O. Again, simple question. We will start from here. N 90. So if N is 90, from this I can say M is 30. If M is 30, from this I can say K is 15. K is 15. Now, we are asked to find O value. O is K plus N. O is K plus N. We got just now K as 15. N is given as already 90. So total 105. So O weight is 105. That is last option. O is 105. Simple equations related question. And I am sure this must be from reasoning ability section. Simple equation related question. Answer 105. Let's move to the next one. Non-verbal reasoning question, figure series. What comes here? Similar to that sample test question. Now let us observe one by one. Let us see circle position. If I name these as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am naming these as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions. Circle is initially in 3, then move to 4, and then move to 2, and then move to 5. Circle is initially in 3, then move to, this is 4, right? And this is 2 in my notation, and this is 5. So circle has moved all the positions. What is the next position? It should move to 1. What is 1 here? So circle should be in the corner. Circle should be in the corner. So this option eliminated, because in this circle should be in 1 position. This is 1 position according to my notation. So in all these 3 options, circle is in 1 position. Next, let us see star. Star actually initially in 2 position, then move to 5 position, and then move to 1 position, and then move to 3 position. Now what should be? It's 2, 5, 1, 3. So what is the only left out? 4. It should move to 4th position. That means it should be in the, what is the 4th position? Corner, right? So star is in corner in 2 options, either in this as well as in this, but this we have already eliminated. So this is the one. Star is here. So answer is this option. Star should be in 4th position, and this is the 4th place. So that is the answer for this, right? Yes. So that's a simple non-verbal reasoning question. Next one. Next question. Here is the next one from Venn diagrams. A question related to Venn diagrams. In the following diagram, the rectangle stands for tennis fans. It is already written. Everything is written, so you don't have to read the question. Now let us see. Here is the question. How many athletes are playing hockey? How many athletes are playing hockey? So athlete circle, hockey square. So intersection of circle and square. 9, 10, 5, 8. Yeah. So this is intersection of circle and square. Athletes playing hockey, right? Out of these, either students or tennis fans, but not both. Students or tennis fans. Students triangle, they should be in triangle, but not both. First of all, what is there in triangle as well as tennis fans? Rectangle. What is there in triangle as well as rectangle? This 8 eliminated. This is in triangle as well as rectangle, so we don't want both. That is eliminated. Now we want either only in triangle or only in rectangle. Students triangle, right? Only in triangle. Out of these 4 numbers, 10 is not in triangle. We don't want that. 9 is in rectangle, so we will take it. And this 5 is in triangle. We'll take it. So answer 9 plus 5, 14 is the answer. So these 9 and these 5 people are athletes playing hockey, and these are either students or tennis fans. These 9 are tennis fans. These 5 are students. Both people he asked us to exclude, so I have excluded this 8. And these 10 are not at all in student circle, so I have excluded that also. Okay, so answer 14. That is last option. 4th option is the answer. A simple Venn diagram related question from reasoning. Right, let's move to the next one. The The following are the criteria. I mean, this is again for decision making question. Some conditions are given and a person's eligibility is given. You're asked to find for which job position he will be suitable. So let me move to the question straight away. I'll read out for you. I'm really sorry. I can't see the person name, but that is not related. He completed BBA with 65% marks. He completed BBA with 65% marks. So let's see what is the condition. The person should be able to should complete BBM or BBA with at least 65% marks. So he satisfied A. This candidate satisfied A. Condition A. So let me write here. He satisfied condition A. There are 4 conditions A, B, C, D, right? Let's see whether he satisfied condition B, C, D, or what is the next about this candidate. She was 22 years old when she had completed her BBA in 2009. When she completed her BBA in 2019, she was 22 years old. That means in 2019 she was 22 years old. Age criteria, she should be less than 25 years of age by 2020. So obviously, if she is 19 in 2019, then she will be 20 years in 2020. So therefore, she is satisfying the age criteria. Sorry, she is in 2019, she was 22 years old. Then in 2020, she will be 23 years old, still less than 25. So satisfied B. Age criteria also she satisfied. Next, move to what about that person information. Next information is she would apply for the first job while pursuing MBA. She would apply for first job. That means it says she has no experience. What is the condition regarding the experience? She should have 1 year of work experience. So that means she failed D condition. She failed D condition. C is regarding she should have scored more than 70% marks in group discussion and more than 75% marks in personal interview. 75% more in group discussion 70% more, interview 75% more. So let us see how many marks she got in the information. It's given that that person, she has scored 71% in group discussion and 81% in personal interview. I think this is 81%. So in group discussion 71%, in interview, personal interview 81%, group discussion 71%, personal interview 81%. What are the criteria? She should get more than 70% in group discussion, so she got it. 71 is more than 70, and she should get more than 75% in interview. She got that. So that means she satisfied C. She satisfied C. But D, condition D has not satisfied. Now let us see what he is saying. Here is the information. If she satisfies everything except D, but has scored more than 85% marks in group discussion, no, and at least 80% marks in personal interview, this is fine, but she did not score more than 85% marks in interview group discussion. That means she failed condition D and its alternate F. She failed condition D and its alternate as well. That means she is not going to be admitted. So answer option 2. The candidate would not be admitted. The candidate would not be admitted. Clear? Right. So that is the answer for decision. That it took some time because the question and information is not in single slide. I hope you understand my problem. These are in 2 different slides, so I have to move back and forth to answer the question. Right. Next one. From quantitative ability section, what is the sum in rupees which when divided among XYZ in the proportion 3:5:7 provides 8,000 rupees more to Z than what it would have been done to him when the proportion is 11:15:19. So the question indirectly is saying when the money is divided among XYZ in the ratio 7:5:7, so 3:5:7, Z got 8,000 rupees more than when it is divided in the ratio 11:15:19. Then we are asked to find what is the total money divided. There are 2 ways to answer. First of all, the total money in this case is 3 plus 5 plus 7, total 15 parts. So total money should be 15 multiple. A number is 15 multiple if it is divisible by 3 and 5. So this is divisible by 3, this is divisible by 3, this is also divisible by 3, and this is not divisible by 3. Right? Next, in this case, In this case, 11 plus 15 plus 19, total 45 parts. A number is divisible by 45 if it is divisible by 5 and 9. If it is divisible by 5 and 9, 9 in the sense sum of the digits. So again, this is eliminated. Now these two. Now between these two, you have to come to a conclusion which is the answer. Right? So since two options are satisfying, let us go by the actual method otherwise. Or let us take this as answer, second option. I am going by options method. If I take this as the answer, in this case total 11 plus 15 plus 19, 45 parts. If I divide 1,80,000 into 45 parts, each part is 4,000. Each part is, because 45 fourths 184,000, and Z is getting 19 parts, so Z share is 19 into 4,000, which is 76,000. Whereas if I divide the same 1,80,000 in this ratio 3:5:7, which is total 15 parts, each part 12,000, each part 12,000, then Z is getting 7 parts, so 7 into 12,000, 84,000. Right? So this 84,000 is obviously 8,000 rupees more than the 76,000, right? So difference is 8,000, and that is what we are asked to, that is what we should get. So since second option is satisfying, that is the answer. If second option is not satisfying this difference of 8,000 case, then we will go for third option is the answer. But luckily that is satisfied, that is the answer. But if you don't like this options method, let me tell you other method. Right? Now in this case, ratio 3:5:7. So let the money be 3x, 5x, 7x. Then what is the Z share? 7x. Now in this ratio 11:15:19, let the parts be, don't take x again because this is a different ratio, you should take a different variable, 11y, 15y, 19y. Then what is Z share? 19y. Now we should get a difference of, when in this case she got 8,000 rupees more than the second case. So that means 7x minus 19y is equal to 8,000. And we also know that the total money distributed in this case and in this case is same. What is the total money in this case? 3x plus 5x plus 7x, 15x. That should be equal to, what is the total money in this case is 40y. So if 15x is equal to 45, 5 3 is 5 8. So 3x is equal to 8y. Right? 3x is equal to 8y. So if I substitute that x value here, right, if I substitute y value or 8 value, whatever, from this x is equal to 8y by 3. From this x is equal to 8y by 3. If I substitute that in this equation, 7 into x is 8y by 3 minus 19y is equal to 8,000. So this is, if I simplify 7 8 56, minus 57 minus y is equal to, we are getting 24,000. So probably I think I've taken a, let me calculate. I'm sorry for the repetition here. 3x, 5x, 7x, total 15x, and that is equal to, this is 30, 45y. So 5 9s, I made a mistake in the calculation, come on. So 15 1s, 15 3s, so this is x is equal to 3y. This is x equal to 3y, right? By the way, we already got 7x minus 19y is equal to 8,000. 7x minus 19y is equal to 8,000. So if I substitute this x is equal to 3y here, this becomes 21y minus 19y is equal to 8,000. So 2y is equal to 8,000, y is equal to 4,000. Y is 4,000. What is the total money divided among them? 45y, right? So 45 into 4,000, which is 1,08,000. 1,80,000. 1,80,000, second option. I'm sorry for the error. Previously in this calculation, this directly goes 15 1s, 15 3s. So x is equal to 3y. If I substitute here, I got y value, that is each part 4,000. In the second case, total money is 45y. So 1,80,000 is the total money. Simple question, but unnecessarily I made it complicated with the two methods. I'm sure you will get it. Okay. Next question. I will increase the font size so that you will be able to see that clearly. Now 5x into 3y, sorry, 5 power x into 3 power y is equal to 225 multiplied by 405. you're asked to find x power 2y minus 3x. So that means write everything, this number in terms of 3s and 5s. 225 is nothing but 15 into 5, 15 into 15. 225 is 15 into 15. That is 3 square into 5 square, and 405 can be written as 5 into 81, that is 5 into 3 power 4. So total 3 power 6 into 5 cube. This is 5 power x into 3 power y. So from this, if I compare, x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 6. Now substitute this in the required x power, that means 3 power 2y 2 into 6 minus 3x 3 into 3. So this is 12 minus 3 cube. 3 cube is nothing but 27. That is option 2. A simple question from exponents concept. Powers, exponents, equations, I can say, equations concept. Right, let's move to the next question. Now x plus 10% of 240, x plus 10% of 240 is 60% more. That means 160% of, 60% more is nothing but 160% of x percent of 180. 160% of x percent of 180. Okay, so if I equate, I'll get a value for x first. So let me simplify this first. This is 25s, 28s, 8 1s, 8 3s, and again this is 5 1s, 5 36, 6 6 are, 6 5s are. So if I simplify, 5x plus 50 is equal to 6x, then x is equal to 50. I got x value as 50. Now if I substitute x value as 50 here, 15% of x plus 20. We want 15% of x plus 20. X is 50, right? So 15% of 70, which is 10.5, is what percentage less than 25% of x? 25% of x is 50, right? So 25% of x is 12.5. So this 10.5 is what percentage less than 12.5? That is 2 by 12.5 into 100. 10.5 is 2 less than 12.5. So 2 by 12.5 into 100. 12.5 ones, 12.5 8s to 8, 16%. So answer first option, 16%. Simple question, but little calculative. You need to calculate these things carefully, because x percent, too much of expressions, too much of complication in the presentation. But otherwise, conceptually not a difficult question. Calculation wise, yeah, little clumsy. I agree with that. So answer first option, 16. Okay. Right. Next one. The mean of set of data is 5. What will be the mean if 10 subtracted from, let me minimize, you will be able to see. What will be the mean if 10 is subtracted from each data? If 10 is subtracted from each. When 10 is subtracted from each, mean will also be subtracted by 10. So actual mean 5. Now 5 minus 10 minus 5. That will be the new mean. Whatever the mathematical operation we perform to each element of the data, same thing will be applicable to the mean. If you add 10 to each data, then mean will also be added by 10. If you multiply each data by 10, mean will also get multiplied. If you divide each data by 10, mean will also get divided by 10. So here each element is subtracted by 10, so mean will also get be subtracted by 10. So answer minus 5. Yeah, simple question, a very simple one. Next one. A sum is invested on simple interest grows to rupees 22,500 and 25,500 in 7 years and 9 years respectively under simple interest. So in the 7 years and 9 years, what is the difference? 2 years. And here what is the growth in these two? What is the difference? 3,000. In 2 years, if it is 3,000, for 1 year, what is that? 1,500. And this is the simple interest. For 1 year, if it is 1,500, initially in 7 years, how much it will be there? In 7 years, 7 into 1,500, which is 10,500. 15 sevens 105, 10,500. This 10,500 is the simple interest. Total money to 22,500. So how do you get principal amount minus interest? That is 22,500 minus 10,500 interest. Then remaining 12,000 is the principal. So we are asked to find interest. Under interest, what is the formula? SI is equal to PTR by 100. So interest we already know, which is 1,500. Interest is 1,500 per year, right? So 1,500 PSI is equal to P 12,000 T 1 year. R we are asked to find. This 10,500 interest is for 7 years. Don't get any confusion. Per year interest is 1,500. So if I simplify, 2 zeros get cancelled, 0 get cancelled, and if I simplify this, 6 2s, 6 3s, 6 2 is 12, 25, 25 by 2, which is 12.5%. That is option D. Rate of interest is 12.5%. Option D. Okay, simple interest related question. Next one. Here is the right, this one is over, right? Next one. If n is an integer such that 1NN352 is a 6-digit number, exactly divisible by 24. A number is divisible by 24 if it is divisible by both 3 and 8, then what will be the sum of the possible values of n? By the way, last 3 digits are already divisible by 8, so number is divisible by 8. Now you just have to check for divisible by 3 condition. So far sum of the digits is 1 plus n plus 3 plus 5 plus 2, which should be 3 multiple. Okay, right. So first of all here 8, 10, 11 plus 2n. This 11 plus 2n should be 3 multiple. What are the values I can take for n? Can I take n is equal to 0? If I take n is equal to 0, 11 plus 0, 11 cannot be 3 multiple. If I take n is equal to 1, 11 plus 2, 13, no. If I take n is equal to 2, yes, 11 plus 4, 15. I can take n is equal to 2. Then if I take n is equal to 3, 17, no. N is equal to 4, 18, 19, no. N is equal to 5, yes. When I take n is equal to 5, 2 5 10 plus 11, 21, 3 multiple. And n is equal to 6, 12 plus 11, 23, no. N is equal to 7, 14 plus 11, 25, not multiple of 3. N is equal to 8, 16 plus 11, 27. Yes, I can take n is equal to 8 as well. Right, when I take n is equal to 8, it becomes 16 plus 11, 27, which is 3 multiple. N is equal to 9, no. N is equal to 10. 10 cannot be because n is a single digit here. N can take anything from only 0 to 9. So only these 3 values. You are asked to find what is the sum of all the possible values for n, which is 2 plus 5 plus 8, 15. So the sum of the possible values of n for this is 15. Option 1 is the answer. Right. Let's move to the next question. This is a simple divisibility rule based question. And here is the one which is related to geometry areas. Diameter of a pizza is obviously in the circular shape and it has diameter which is 30 centimeter. Diameter is 30, that means radius is 15. What is the area of the upper surface of the sector of the pizza whose length of the arc is 8 centimeter? So you are asked to find the area of the sector, right? Now this length of the arc is already given as 8 centimeter. Radius we know 15 because diameter is given. Now you are asked to find area. Area of the sector when length of the arc known is LR by 2. Actually area of the sector is theta by 360 into pi r square when you know central angle. But here we do not know theta value. Therefore the other formula to find area of the sector when length of the arc is given is LR by 2, where R is radius, L is length of the arc. So R is 15, L is 8 by 2, which is 60 centimeter square area. Area is 60 centimeter square, that is option 2. You can answer this question only if you know the formula to find area of the sector, which is LR by 2 when length of the arc is given. If central angle theta is given, then theta by 360 into pi r square is the formula to find area of the sector. Right? Refer the formula, you will get the answer for this question. Let's move to the next one. A sum of rupees 30,000 invested in a scheme where the interest gets compounded annually and grows into rupees 51,840 in 3 years. So under compound interest, let us write the formula. A is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 whole power n. So 51,840 is equal to P 30,000 into 1 plus R we do not know whole power n for 3 years. So if I bring this side, 5,800 cancel by 3,000 is equal to 1 plus R by 100 whole cube. So if I simplify this further, I think you can cancel this straight away with the 6 500s, 6 8s and 6 6s are 6 4s. Again further I can go ahead with 4 125s, 4 2s, 4 1s, 4 6. So I got it as 216 by 125, which we can write it as 6 by 5 whole cube. So this is something like 1 plus R by 100 whole cube is 6 by 5 whole cube. On both sides I can cancel the cubes. So 1 plus R by 100 is equal to 6 by 5. That implies R is equal to 20%. If you solve this, you will get R value as 20%. So this is 20% per annum. This is 20% per annum. Is this clear? So by solving this, we got R as 20% per annum. Now you are asked to find how much interest would have got on the same money in 6 months if the scheme has compounded quarterly. So this R is 20% per annum, then per quarter you should take it as R by 4, which is 20 by 4, 5% per quarter. Per annum 20%, per quarter 5. So again A is equal to 30,000 P into 1 plus R 5 by 100. In a 6 months compounded quarterly, n value becomes 2, because in 6 months 2 quarters occur. So you have to write n value 2 because compounded quarterly, but you want interest for 6 months. So if I simplify, this is 30,000 into 1 plus 1 by 20, which is 21 by 20, 441 by 400. Right, 1 plus 1 by 20, 4 square, 440 by 400. If I simplify this further, and this is 75 times, so it is like 441 into 75, 75 1 75, 75 4 300, 307, and then 75 4 300, 330. So amount is 33,075, principal is 30,000. Then what is the interest? Amount minus principal, 33,075 minus 30,000, which is 3,075. 3,075, that is the answer. Option 4, 3,075. So obviously compound interest questions involves squares, cubes, and luckily the numbers are good. 5 multiples, zeros are there, so not so difficult in terms of calculation. Right, let's move to the next question. Last but one from this video. And these are the 41 questions what I've got from the students. An item was sold at a profit of 12% after giving a discount of 12.5% on the list price. What would be the gain or loss percentage if a discount of 25% is given on the list price? So let the cost price be, I'm following my method, no formula. I'm following general method. Let the cost price be 100. Then given he made 12% profit, so selling price is 112. But this selling price 112 is after giving a discount of 12.5% on the list price. So let the list price be X. Then what is the discount on this? 12.5%. So what is the price after the discount on X? If someone reduces 12.5%, then 87.5% of X is the selling price, which is given as 112. So if I simplify, 87.5 by 100 into X is equal to 112. Now luckily 12.5 sevens and 12.5 eights. 12.5 sevens, 12.5 eights, and 7 1 7 16ths. So X is equal to 16 into 8, which is 128. So what is this X, by the way? List price. List price is 120. Right? Now pay attention. So now same article 100 rupees, same list price 128, but now discount is 25%. What is 25%? 1 by 4. 1 by 4. So on 128, discount is always offered on list price, right? On 128, what is 1/4? 32 rupees discount. So on 128, if discount is 32 rupees, what is the selling price? 128 minus 32, 96 rupees. Now he bought at 100, sold at 96. So he incurred a loss of 4 rupees. So 4% loss on 100, that is the answer, which is fourth option. Loss is 4%. Is this clear? Right. So I have not followed any formula. I just have gone by the X method, general method, 100 method, and I've just applied that concept called buy. The price at which we buy is cost price, increasing the cost price is market price, reducing the market price is discount. If you take out the discount, the result is called selling price, and if you compare the selling price with cost price, you will come to know profit or loss. So this is the business cycle what we have to follow. Then you don't need any formula. Right. Let's move to the last question from this video. From 24th of October TCS questions. X is 4 times as efficient as Y. X is 4 times as efficient as Y, and doing a particular work. Working together, they can complete the work in 16 days. Then how many days Y alone take to complete the work? Actually, okay, first I will explain and then I will tell you how to eliminate the options. Let us suppose if Y takes Y takes, let's say, 4A number of days to complete the task. Then X takes A days to complete the task because he is 4 times efficient. If he is 4 times efficient, he takes 1/4 of the time taken by Y. Now given together takes 16 days. So X 1 day work 1 by A, Y 1 day work 1 by 4A, as together takes 16 days, 1 day work 1 by 16. So LCM 4A, 5 by 4A is equal to 1 by 16. That implies A is equal to 20. So A is nothing but time taken by X, but you are asked to find time taken by Y, which is 4A, which is 4 into A, that is 80 days. So Y takes 80 days to complete the task. So what I told you earlier, you can answer this from options as well, because if they together take 16 days, then obviously Y alone cannot take 20 days, because if Y takes 20 days, X takes only 4 days, because X is 4 times as fast as Y, and when X takes only 4 days, why do they take 16 days together? So this cannot be answered. Similarly, if Y takes 40, X takes only 10 days. Why? Because X is 4 times as fast as X, and when X takes 10 days, how can they take 16 days if they work together? So this is also not possible. Now between these two, then this is the method actually. Between these two, you can go by this. Let's say if Y takes 60 days, then X takes 15 days. How do you know? Because X is 4 times as fast as Y. But with these numbers, I don't think together they take 16 days. You don't get 16 with these numbers together work. So therefore answer option 2. So these are some of the questions what I've got from the students today on 16th of October. Let me tell you, there are a lot of disturbances. The server is getting stuck. A lot of technical issues. Don't be panicked. TCS is giving an opportunity. They are scheduling another slot. Do not spend any false rumors and just give your best. And last but not least, these are the questions, but there is no guarantee that you will get the same questions. Ultimately, I can tell you that overall the questions are not difficult and not as difficult as they were in DRC test. So now happily you can go and you can attempt the test. Reasoning questions are simple, quantitative questions are simple, they're not as difficult as they were in DRC test. Thank you so much. If you like my explanation, like the video, share it with as many as you can, because in the last minute this may help you, all the people who are taking the test on tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.